Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be.
Yeah. So, anything else you would like to say, Mr. Shalom?
Yes. The end of the question that you asked me. What was the end part?
Um, I ask you, um, what was? No, you already answered. I think we already answered this.
You already answered that.
Yeah,
So,
I do have one more question for everybody.
question.
After we already spoke about this. So, where do you think you fit in when it comes to modern man, traditional man, or in the middle?
I'm a traditional man. Maybe anybody that talk to me, they be like, man, you come up really aggressive. Like, it's boom, 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 boom. You don't do it. I'm gonna find somebody that's gonna do it. I'm gonna tell them to argue with you and try to go back because I was telling my grandmother her younger brother raised me, and he was straightforward. He don't bend. If he said this is this, he don't care about your emotion, whatever your thought is, because
Cut off a little bit.
my bad, hold on. He see something in front of you, so he will hear you out. And if he sounds stupid, he gonna say you sound stupid. It doesn't go that way. But try this way. If you still want to enforce your way, you're not gonna break through the house. You are not gonna go through that front door. If you go through that front door, you know you ain't coming back through that front door. So having that structure and growing up with that, but one thing he always with family, like Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night and Saturday night for us is Saturday night because that's when the kids and the elder brothers and everybody would come together and he would distribute food and fruit. I would see, big sister over there, we got big brother over there, and everybody just happy and he would always have a Guinness Scotch in his hand.
That's fine.
All the time he always have a beer, a Guinness. And every time he put it down, I'll put my hand in there and put it in my mouth. It's just so nasty. I never
Yeah, that's
ever.
what I'm saying. How you drink that thing at that age?
It's just so nasty. But that was the first time, and just seeing that growing up, I think that was back in 1991, and I still remember it.
That's funny
Like,
because now that you mentioned that, back in 1991 for me, my grandpa, um, I was playing around and he was out there talking to one of his buddies, and I was little, probably like 4 or 5 years old, and I was like, "Hey, grandpa, whatever." We were playing, and he was having fun because he was drunk already. He was like, and so he was like, "Hey, you want some?" I was like, "Hey." And then he was like, "Okay, have some." And I'm like, "Okay." I thought it was juice to me. I don't, I'm 4 years old, 4 5 years old. So I go, "Hmm? Ah." I remember that taste, bro. I remember that taste all the way until I was like 21.
yeah,
Because,
yeah,
and I was like, ever since that time, I never wanted to drink beer. I drink beer now, but it was because when I turned 21, people started getting me into it. But until I was 21, I thought beer tastes like shit. And I was not
yeah,
gonna put that in my mouth.
yeah. I
I'm like,
never, I didn't drink Guinness until I started getting used to it back in 2011 and 12. But imagine 91 to 2011 and 12, that's a
yeah.
stretch because the taste.
Yeah.
But I always see that. And he was, yeah, he have his ups and downs, he have his flaws. Who doesn't have it? But the structure that he had in the house is iron fist, meaning that I see I call it my grandma, his wife at the time. I was gonna say it's his wife. She was like a mom to me, and She know her place to the T that she know her husband or a boyfriend. She know him so good that when he get drunk, she not go, all right, go sit over here and give him the blanket and he'll sleep on the couch. She know him to the point that in every Friday he always give her the money. She take care of the bills. And she'll give him some.
Traditional family right there.
That's what I was raised with. So now I have more on that side. So modern day, a little bit modern day is like I was watching those shows, How to Be a Husband and all of that. It had the same thing I grew up with, but everybody was laughing at it. It was like a clown. Being a husband is like a clown. You're a clown.
Yeah.
You say certain things, people laugh at you. So I grew up, he say something, nobody laugh at him. If he's not laughing with you, or you crying with him, he's gonna make you cry. So it was funny growing up in this country with that modern day, and mom is not home like that. She's working. All the women, I would see them in the market selling and buying, selling, and building relationship. But now I'm in America, I'm seeing everybody go to work. Woman putting man pants on for at least 10 to 20 years. Not in the house. So TV was raising us. Grandma, she have her own spot. We can go there. We know that, all right, Thanksgiving, we're going to grandma's house. Christmas, we might go to grandma's house. So that became like a tradition. But growing up, it's like you down the street. Having family time, everybody's your brother and your sister, your elder brother. There's not even, oh, that's a cousin. No, they were like brother and sister. Growing up in that type of tradition, coming to America, you by yourself. Eye for an eye, two for a two. I don't care who you are. You touch my kids, I'm gonna hurt you. Back then, somebody slap you down the street. They know what you did. Your mom know it. Before you came in the house, she already know what you did. What? Who? Auntie such and such. Damn. She said she saw you such and such. Damn. She beat me. Yeah, I got beat you too. That's tradition.
Yeah, that is tradition.
Modern day, you touch my kids. Modern days become weaker. They make men weaker from that tradition. Stand from of a man rolling. Now a man beating on their woman. Now I don't give no 2 cents. If you want to beat somebody, fight a man. Don't fight a woman.
And now that you mentioned that is a good point, because now, like, if I'm seeing before, okay, let's say before, if let's say I got into a fight with a kid at school, or I got somebody angry, or another kid, right? And I see the dad coming to the school, I'm like, oh shoot, dad. But now these days, if I see the mom coming, that's what I'm worried.
Right.
If I see the dad,
it's
like, he probably don't even care. But back then, it was like, if I see the dad coming, I might get whipped myself from somebody's daddy. But, I was afraid. Like, if I see the dad, that means it's serious.
Yeah.
If the dad have to take money off the table because he had to go visit the school for this thing, it's gonna go down. Yeah. I'm going to court. I'm probably going to jail, or I'm gonna get beat, or some shit is happening. But now, if I see the mom, I'm like, if I see the dad now, it's like, oh, hey, mister, or whatever. Yeah, this is what happened. He's like, is everything good now? Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go back to work. But he's stressed out. He doesn't even care.
Yeah. He's out of position. The woman have taken the man traditionally, and the man have become the woman traditionally. Mm-hmm. Some men want to stay home. That's all they want to do. They want to do the bare minimum. They don't want to help their wife in any kind of way, and they expect her to be a tradition. Yeah. They want to be lazy. They don't want to milk the cow, but they want the cow to give the milk. Where's the work at?
It's milking cows, man.
Yes, you can't make a if you can't get a milk if you don't milk them. So you over there telling her go cook. She already did like 8-10 hours. Take care of the kids.
Man, you tell a modern woman these days go cook and she probably slap the shit out of me. Like, motherfucker, you go cook.
So look at what's really going on in society. That's why I say they want a tradition man, but they're not ready for a tradition role.
Yeah.
They want a modern day man to be tradition. That's not going to happen. Because modern day majority TV and mother raised us up.
Which leads me to the issues of, yeah, you know, both of them are not perfect. We gotta admit that. They both have their own thing. But one of the thing is when it comes to the modern day and the way modern day both are for women and men these days, since they're both working and stuff like that, is who's raising your kids? Who's raising your kids? The system is raising your kids. The same system that you're trying to escape is the one that you're letting raise your kids.
Why is that? They're out of order. B cannot go before A.
So yeah. So the same system that you're trying to escape is raising your kids. So that's when it becomes a problem. Because now what? They both working, so where you gotta put your kids at? Daycare, right? So who's raising your kids? The daycare. What do they go by? They gotta go the laws of the state, the country. So they get what they gotta teach you, what the states approve, which is the same thing that the school teaches. So the system is raising your kids. It's the same thing as them being in freaking foster care. You literally pretty much, even though you are the mom and dad, you're putting them in foster care technically, because the system is raising your kids.
So I have a question I want to ask you. How many percent of tradition men and how many percent of, from 100%, how many percent is tradition and how many percent is modern day and how many percent is don't give a damn?
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go. If I have to go with my personal opinion, man, I will have to go. I will have to go with 30% traditional now today. 50% a modern type, and about 20% and on the rest, which is probably 30%, and probably don't give a damn. That's what that's what we'll have to do.
Then you know why this system work. Just 34% don't give a damn. And 34% is mixing with the modern day. And then they expect a tradition man.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Like, I'm not trying to say here that there's anything wrong with the modern man either, like, and the modern household. You could make it work pretty good. You just gotta be smart about it. There's a lot of benefits to that too, but I just mentioned some of the flaws at first. But there is some benefits in the modern times, and the way things are good. But so for me, you know, you say you're traditional. So for me, I'm more here in my household, I would say I'm more of a hybrid. So I kind of like in between. I would say I'm in the middle, due to the fact that I do have some of the traditional ideas in my mind. But I'm also in some of the modern, I also got some other modern ways. And I think that's the best. I think, obviously I'm going by my opinion here, you know, but I think that is the best type that there could be, like, because there's been a lot of stuff that come out, a lot of there's new ways that we have learned throughout time. We have improved, and we cannot ignore those things that we have learned through time, things that didn't work before that we have learned and we have adjusted, and we added those. So for me, those things, there are new things and new information. And there's still some of the traditional stuff that works. You take the stuff from the traditional times that work, and you take the stuff from the modern time that works and put them together. And I think that creates a pretty good system. And then having your partner also being in the same page. Like my wife is also, I believe, hybrid, because knowing her, I could see the traditional part and I could see the modern part of her. So we adapting with times, but we're still kind of like taking the benefits from either art from both sides. And so for me, I would say I am a hybrid. You know, there has been times when I lost my job and I was here at home. I was basically a stay-at-home dad. I was a stay-at-home dad. And it's like the roles flipped for me. My wife was the one working and paying the bills. And my daughter, and I was taking care of my daughter because she was not school age yet. So, and I'm still taking care of her. Like on Monday, they go back to, my wife goes back to work. My son goes back to school. I'm here with my daughter in the morning. When my wife get home, I go to, I go make some money. I go work and do some driving. So I'm still kind of like taking care of my daughter. I'm taking care of that responsibility as a man, as a father. I'm taking care of my kids. But in the traditional way, back in days, you were a man that's at home with no job and the woman's the one working. That would be a big problem, and it's very depressing for that type of man. Because it will look really bad on you in the traditional way. But in the modern way, that's, it's totally okay that while I work on myself and working on my future, I'm here babysitting my daughter. And my wife is being supportive, and she's working and doing what she has to do. But now I'm doing some stuff too, and I'm bringing and I'm providing. And during the day, I take care of my daughter, and there's nothing wrong with that. Today, I was driving. Also, I saw a man walking with his 2 kids. He was pushing the stroller. It looked like I'm pretty sure the wife was at work or doing something. That's why she wasn't there with them. But he took the kids for a walk. And I'm pretty sure she was at work, and he was the one staying at home with the kids, babysitting. And I was like, wow, look at what that man is doing. I wasn't the only one. Many men are doing that. And he looked about my age. So it was probably really hard for him at first to be able to do those things. If you have some of the traditional background, it was probably really hard to be the person staying at home for a while as a man. So, but now I'm more kind of like a hybrid. I'm more in the mentality of I gotta keep my family healthy. I'm the one that want to be raising my daughter. I don't want to pay right now for no babysitter. So I can't pay for any babysitter at all. So this is like life and God telling you, hey, you're raising your daughter. You're gonna spend time with your daughter now. And that has given me the blessing of spending time with her. Being able to spend time with her and spending a lot, and being able to see her grow and see her getting educated in the ways that I see fit, and not the matrix. Even though she's gonna, unfortunately, I mean, right now we cannot homeschool. I cannot homeschool or pay for or provide that type of education. But my job is to get to the point that I could. As a man, now as a modern man too, my modern part is to do the things that I have to do to provide for them and give them the best possible that I could. And my traditional side to also provide for the family, make sure they eat, make sure they're taken care of, make sure they have fun, make sure I'm being productive. And that's where everything that that I'm doing is taking care of that traditional part. But there's like I said, a lot of men now, because the woman is the one working, a lot of men are staying home, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you know your part, and if the one, and you know your part, and you also providing in some type of way, then everything is good. Then we're good. So I'm kind of like in the middle. But still the big challenge is, who's raising your kids? That's still the big challenge for modern, for either way, hybrid or completely modern, is who's raising your kids. And that's that, and that's a big if. And how can we, the question is, as a man, and this is where the man responsibility come in the modern times, as a man, you're the one who have to figure out how can we you still provide, you still could be that man, that provider, but your kids get the proper education from you. You raise them, not society, not the matrix, not the system that's been set up, that's still around since back in the 1920s. So that's where I stand at the moment. Right now, I'm considering myself in between type of man. And that's what I would. That's what I think I am. So all right, I'll pass that on to you, Mr. Sewell. If nobody have any questions, I'll pass it on to you, Mr. Sewell.
That's no worries, Mr. Brother. Again, we just identifying and just moving with the times. Again, it goes back to what I said before. There's nothing wrong who you are, or it's just that make sure you get with the right partner is a key thing. Where you said, well, you and your lady, yeah, you're traditional and modern. She's traditional and modern, right? So that works out fine because that doesn't negate the fact that you're not gonna have like problems, issues, or disagreements or debates, whatever the case may be. It just means that, you guys have a give or take, relationship, right? Just like anything else should be. You know what I mean? So, but moving forward, me, I'm just like, I'm a little old school. I'm kind of like traditional, but in a way, I don't mind certain things as long as certain things is taken care of, right? One thing about me, if we're doing the same thing over and over, right? Do you have to remind somebody to pay a bill every month? You should know you should have to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to remind somebody to put gas in their car every time they need gas? You should know when you need gas. You can look on his own E. It's just certain things, for me, I'm just kind of detailed. Certain things, for me, I just like things done a certain way. You know what I mean? And just like when I do something for someone, I'm gonna do it in a certain way too as well to make sure I get it right. Now, will I get it right all the time? No. Will someone get something right for me all the time? Absolutely not. But I also like that respect too as well. You know what I mean? I'm not a person who like a lot of loudness. You know what I'm saying? Dependent. Now, will you have your moments where you get loud? Yes. But when you're out in certain areas, out in public, no, you don't want to be too loud. I don't like a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me, you know what I'm saying? Because, so again, you know what I mean? My grandmother was, like I was telling everybody, man, when I saw my grandma like Mr. Shalom, I saw a tradition woman. She cooked for my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? She ironed his clothes. She made sure everything was done. You know, and and it's very rare because I saw her do it all the way up to the end. Now, today, that's why I say the problem is that most people call a woman like that stupid because most people think being submissive is being stupid. But I say it again, those grandmothers wasn't married twice. They wasn't married 3 times. They wasn't calling around looking for their husbands.
Man, how dare anybody to call a traditional grandma stupid?
I heard some women. I've heard women say, "You think I'm gonna be submissive and stupid like my grandmother?" Yes,
Ooh,
I heard them say. Yeah, I've heard them say that, and I just say, "Wow, man,
it's already hurting me right now just thinking about it. Because grandma was something for people to fear back in the day, even if it was somebody else's grandma. Like it was so much respect or something to feel. Like I was like, yo, yes,
well,
ma'am.
even if it wasn't grandma, great grandma, somebody that you can use as a representation in your family that fits the description. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It could have been a great aunt. It may not have been your grandma. It could have been like Mr. Shalom. It could have been a woman in his life that came in, that was there, that showed him a certain class of woman. See, if a woman's going to be a certain class, then a man got to be a certain class. And that's why I say I'm more traditional. But I have some modern ways in me. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind letting my wife go out there and do some freedom, go around. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm not the type that's too controlling. If I got to sit up there and watch every movement, then that's not the type of woman I need to be with. I got to watch every step.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's me. So
yeah. And man, I'm liking this conversation. I'm loving this conversation.
that's just me. But I do like my wife to make me coffee. I like my coffee being made. Yes, I like my coffee.
Yeah.
I like food. Do she has to make it every day? No, I'm not that type of person. Because we live in a day and age where, some days I may want to order some pizza. I may want some KFC. I may want some I don't know, some Chinese food or whatever. So that's just the day and age. Back then they didn't have as many restaurants like you see now. Back then everything was more made in home versus today you have many options of eating out for not as much money. So you can have a family night out at a pizza place. You can have a family night out at a certain restaurant, at a bowling alley. You know what I'm saying? Versus just constantly, just cooking in the home, like how I was back in the day. So I think every man today, to be honest, Mr. Raylan, I think today, in today's age, every man's gotta have a little bit of to survive out here, you gotta have some modern ways so you can adapt to some things that's going on out here today.
Yeah, and that's wrong, man. And I know that's what you're right, and I believe that's where I'm at right now. Currently, I'm just adapting.
But I think when it comes to when you trying to, not you, but when we classify tradition or modern, I think it's a class of action. It's how you carry. It's how you carry yourself, and it's how you conduct yourself. That's more so. Do you conduct yourself more traditionally, more modern? And that's where I say I'm looking for. I like to conduct myself more of the traditional, because most women's gonna want a traditional man, but there are some cases where you do have women who want to have a man where she wants to take care of. Again, you have those instances. So she might not be worried about if a man makes a lot of money. She just wants somebody just to love her and spend time with her, because she already has the money. You know what I'm saying? So you may have that situation.
Yeah, that might be all that she wants, and that's totally okay.
And that's okay. You just gotta you gotta make sure that man is what you're looking for. Again, because if you try to change that man to what you're looking for, then there's a problem.
Exactly. Like everything is okay as long as both partners are on the same page and they both want the same thing. So as long as that happens, then you could do whatever. Everything is okay. The whole point here at this conversation is make sure you talk this stuff with the other person before you take that step, and make sure that the other person understands what is it that you want, or for both sides understand what is it that each other want, and if they're willing to live that life, and if that's what they want, and if not, then I don't think marriage is really an option at that point. It's not about changing each other while you like you said, it's not about changing. It's about if your goals and what you see, if they match, then you can move forward. If they don't,
that's it. Yeah, but sometimes we try to force fit things with no KY jelly, and that's what happens sometimes, and that's when we run into friction, right? We run into problems. You know what I'm saying? So,
like for example, for example, if it was a man, let's say there's a man that he just wants to be taken care of, right? That's all he wants. He wants to show a woman some love every day and be taken care of. But there's a woman that wants a man that she could take care of, and a man that shows her love. That's what she wants: love and hugs, and come home to something beautiful and somebody that supports her. Then at that point, if they could both agree on that, then that would be a perfect relationship.
Yeah. Again, if that's what they're looking for, you just got to make sure that that's what they want. So me, I like my woman to cook. You know what I'm saying? I like the tradition thing sometimes, but I understand that today's women, like Mr. Shalon said earlier, Mr. Shalon made a great point. Today's your wife would have probably, maybe it's one of them days your wife had to work 9-10 hours. She's gonna be tired. She's gonna be hard for her to cook. So why not say, hey, look, either I cook or I can order something. I can get some food and make sure by the time you get home, I can have it ready. So make sure you ain't got to worry about cooking. All the food is taken care of. See, and so I think when you do things like that, again, that's what I was talking about. Today, men have to do some modern things, because if you expect your wife to go out there, or your lady go out there and work 10, 12 hours a day and to consistently do all the housework, she's going to be tired out, man. And it's going to be some problems. It's going to be some problems. It's going to be some kickback. But like I say, but if the man is doing his part where he can, of course, there's going to be some hard days, right? It's not going to be it's not going to be easy days, right? We're going to have those days where we're going to be tired. We're going to have those days where it seems like, we just gave it our last before we got in the house and we're just beat up, right? So you're gonna have those days. So I think when you have those days, you know, there has to be an understanding to try to make each other's life a little easier, right? You know what I'm saying? So I guess when everybody's doing their part, it's a lot easier than rather than just expecting someone to do everything by themselves. And when that happens, you're going to tire somebody out. And when you tire, it's only a matter of time. It may take 5 years. Sometimes it may take 10 years. Sometimes 12. But trust and believe, one day the balloon will pop. And when it does, it's because it's a compound effect of everything that just built up over the years.
And that's why you see a lot of marriages but they don't last to 10 years. And if they do, they get divorced around that time, right? Because that's around the time that the balloon pops, around 10 years. When they
Yeah.
That's why the average marriage lasts only 10 years, the average.
Because again, we got to understand, like, okay, if you know you want a man who wants to spend a lot of time at home, don't get a man who owns a business, and don't get a man who's making a high amount of money, because 9 times out of 10, a man who makes a high amount of money is spending a certain amount of time to make it. So when you come into a man and he's out there making his money, in the beginning you're excited because you see one of those P's. A woman sees one of those P's, what? The providing part. You see that, okay, I have a little security with this man because I see that he can provide, because I see he makes a certain type of income. But did you see how long it take him to make it? Are you willing to deal with that? Are you willing to deal with a man who's going to put 10, 12 hours into his business, 14-hour days into his business consistently for the next 10 to 15 years? So
I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket.